Welcome back, guys, to Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutors Gambit, where last episode, with Dr. Hurst testifying about the so-called mistake in the report, we revealed Nurse Niedler's duplicity, as she was a willing accomplice to the ringleader who helped deal with the body and filled in as the would-have-been missing attendee, even telling us about what they did with Kay. Franziska also butted in during our talks to allow us to figure out the murder weapon and Auctioneer's Gavèlle, prompting a search that led to a recess that we now resume from. Silence in the courtroom, please. Miss Von Karma, if you would be so kind as to update us on the progress of the search. It's not good news, I'm afraid. The entire big building has been searched from top to bottom, and no auctioneer's hammer was found anywhere. Ah! That is bad news indeed. Then we have no choice but to move ahead with the verdict.
Ah, such a terrible shame. But I suppose only a fool would have left the murder weapon behind. It's certainly not what I'd expect from a first-rate criminal mind.
No, there's just not enough to work with here. I can't carry us any further on my own.
Yes, it really is a tragedy, but such is life, I suppose. I was just thinking back over the defendants I've made plea deals with over the years. People who poured their hearts out to me, who trusted me with every detail of their crimes. And then, when it came to their sentencing, I recommended life in prison every time. For every single one. Oh, if only you could see them. The stupid, dumbfounded looks on their faces.
The verdict will now be passed. All present will accept the goddess's word as law.
There's nothing more I can do. Kay and I are both...
What? We've so proven that Kay didn't do it! And if only we had some proof. I don't know, we've got enough testimony. I never imagined I would be passing judgment on you under such circumstances.
The end of the road, huh?
By the power vested in me, Excelsius winner, this court hereby indicts you for your crimes.
What? What on earth's gotten into you, Verity?
I submit for the court's consideration the case file of a certain incident. Namely, the IS-7 incident, a murder that took place 18 years ago.
But what does that file have to do with... Wait, you mean... Your late-night visit to this chamber? That was to...
Precisely. I came here to retrieve these documents. Though sadly it would seem that I arrived too early to catch the auction itself. When we spoke of the matter before, I implied that I had come to retrieve files pertaining to your own case. You'll have to forgive me. That was a ruse to buy myself more time.
The IS-7 incident case file data has been jotted down in my organizer. What the heck are you doing, Gavèlle? You can't just accuse my dad. Without proper grounds, it's defamation.
An excellent observation, Eustace.
It is? It's not deformation.
And of course I have the grounds to make such an accusation. 18 years ago, Mr. Manfred von Karma had some details about the victim's body fabricated.
Details he was forced to fabricate when the sculptor Artie Frost's body went missing.
My papa, fabricating information. What is the meaning of this? Ian Sideman, the detective originally assigned to the case, did in fact report that the body had gone missing. However, it seems that a certain someone wasn't very pleased with Mr. Von Karma and deliberately withheld that information in order to bring him down a few pegs.
What?
This individual refuses to allow anyone to go against their wishes or to challenge their power, and they're known to go to extreme lengths in order to bring those who defy them to heel. 18 years ago, they were no different. In fact, they even ordered Dr. Hurst to create a fake autopsy report for the IS-7 incident.
What? She was responsible for the fake report.
But wait, you have to understand, Grandma, she's not a bad person. She had to do what he said. She didn't have a choice.
He.
The person in question was the chief prosecutor at the time. The chief prosecutor 18 years ago. No. The man who gave Papa the first penalty of his career. Excelsius winner, it was you.
Objection!
What are you talking about? My dad would never do something like that.
Overruled.
I'm sorry, Eustace, but your opinion on the matter is not needed here. Well, Chairman Winner, do you have anything to say for yourself?
All that nonsense with the body, that was Manfred's doing. Such a willful boy. And the fake autopsy report? Hilda, how could you? I can't believe you naughty kids would do such dishonest things behind my back.
Hold it!
We could just ask her why she did it. She is standing right over there, after all. But wait, Grandma can't. She's... Ouch! Grandma, I'm sorry. I knew. That's why I... Right, exactly. If I didn't, everybody would have found out about what you did. They said he was going to charge you if I didn't help them with their plan. They said he would. I just had to do what the auctioneer said.
Ooh. So you were coerced into it, were you, Nurse Niedler? And just to be clear, the auctioneer was Chairman Winner. You more or less just said it.
I'm sorry, but I honestly don't know. The person who forced me to help them was the auctioneer. And they definitely looked to be about the same build as the chairman, but I never saw their face. Did you not see the long beard?
Well, there must be something. Any detail, no matter how small, will do.
Oh, wait! Their mask didn't cover their whole face.
Oh my god, like, it's really... like, that's so beard not hiding.
And the part that wasn't covered had a tattoo on it. I remember that much for sure.
What? You wearing a fake beard? Ringleader wore a white jacket, white gloves, magenta flower, and a mask. Also had a tattoo on the part of their face the mask didn't cover. What? A tattoo?
Objection!
This all sounds very dramatic, but I really don't know what you're talking about. A wavy wig? There's no tattoo anywhere on my face. I think I know if there was one, wouldn't you? Which means I can't be the ringleader, no matter how much you might want me to be. I only hope you can figure out who this shameless manipulator might be.
Overruled.
Your contempt for this courtroom is an insult to the goddess.
Are you sure it's not you who's feeling insulted here?
I am not the only one who has been trying to bring you to justice. Miss Ringer had been trying too. And I refuse to let her sacrifice be in vain.
A young Rosie was looking to take me down, you say? But why? I barely knew her. I've always had a certain magnetic charm, but I don't remember ever catching that particular eye.
You barely knew the victim. Why, I do believe that is a new statement. The goddess demands that you offer your full testimony on the record.
So that's how this is going to go, You mean to hound me until I finally break? Well, if that's the way you want to play it, fine. I'll destroy you all. Every last one of you.
Mr. Edgeworth, please allow me to work with you on this one. I doubt we'll get another chance to put him on the stand. So let's make the most of this opportunity.
As I'm the chosen one here that she decided would be the one to stand with against this, though it was against my consent, she could have maybe, conferred with me on this a little bit? Sure. I'll take it as a compliment. Of course, Your Honor. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Now, Chairman Winner, you will tell this court everything you know about Miss Ringer.
Everything I know about Miss Ringer. I'm sure everything's going to be said. Young Rosie was a member of the committee, of course. But we never really had any personal interactions, at least none that I remember. I had no motive to murder that poor girl whatsoever. And I have absolutely no idea why she was after me.
So you don't mean to accept your part in any of this?
Of course he doesn't. He isn't guilty.
How could he be? He's my dad, the winner of winners.
That's very kind of you, Eustace, but you'll need more than mere words if you plan to cover for me.
Right, you got it. I won't let them pin this on you. I believe in you, Dad. You'll beat Edgeworth. I know you will.
Yes, yes. You really are such a sweet, simple child.
He really loves his dad, huh? But that's no excuse for him to ignore his father's crimes. No matter how much he respects him. Regardless of their station in life, all criminals will be made to atone for their sins in time. What's this? The lady battle stances going on.
I can just point and waggle my finger.
This won't be easy on Mr. Winner, but it has to be done. We can't let his father get away with this.
I think a murder's about to be committed by Von Kamm.
And Gavèlle at this point, with the weapons there. Everything I know about Miss Ringer. Let's press.
Young Rosie was a member of the committee, of course.
Why, thank you. Wouldn't you have had to assign her? As a member of the committee, you must have at least been familiar with her face.
Sure, but that's about all. I saw her every once in a while.
Oh, great talk.
But we never really had any personal interactions, at least none that I remember.
Hold it!
So you're saying you barely knew the victim at all?
That's exactly what I'm saying, my boy, yes. Why, I never even knew about that burn mark on her hand.
You didn't, even though it'd be really obvious.
I mean, what's the point? You get to know someone, but before you know it, they're gone. It's become such a pain to remember things about others. They're here one day and gone the next.
People don't just die that quick, like that easily, in this kind of setting. Yes, because they dare to stand up to you and you make them disappear. If you could please add your remark about the victim's burn to your testimony, Chairman Winner.
Why, I didn't even know about the burn mark on her hand.
Hold
it! You're sure you didn't know about the burn mark?
You really don't let up, do you? I'm not in the habit of memorizing who has a scar on their hand and who doesn't.
But this wasn't just any old scar. I say it's pretty noticeable, in fact. Very noticeable. Perhaps under normal circumstances, but now that I think about it, Miss Ringer did always wear gloves. Truth be told, I wasn't aware of the burn mark until after the incident myself. The victim's hands were always covered by a pair of gloves. I mean, they weren't in the photo, right?
It makes sense, of course. People can be very self-conscious about such things. I can only sympathize, being something of a sensitive soul myself.
Or maybe you knew that she had a burn mark because you employed her, and you made something happen that had her remove gloves, and then you knew it was her?
Sensitive soul.
I hope you're not too sensitive to append that statement to your testimony.
Although I suppose she was always wearing gloves. Perhaps it was to hide that burn.
She definitely didn't.
Hold it!
So you remember her always wearing gloves?
I mean, it was something of a trademark of hers, yes. Who knew it was to hide a burn mark? I always imagined it was just a fashion statement. Does your little friend there have something to hide under all those bandages, I wonder?
Who, me? No, I don't have anything to hide. Injuries?
You don't? Not even the stony visage of a cold-blooded murderer?
Objection!
If anyone here is hiding such a thing, it's you. And I'll expose your true face if it's the last thing I do.
Maybe literally.
Oh, ho, ho, ho! You never fail to entertain, my boy. Now go ahead and do your worst.
So Miss Ringer always wore gloves. That reminds me of something. I should look over all the evidence again.
I had no motive to murder that poor girl whatsoever.
We'll finish pressing.
Hold it!
We're probably going for that fourth statement now. You never had any trouble with her professionally.
Oh, ho, ho! Don't be so silly, my boy. I'm far too important these days for such trivialities. And by all accounts, her work was unimpeachable. Besides, our difference in standing meant we hardly ever interacted.
But that doesn't prove you didn't kill her, does it?
Well, you would say that, wouldn't you? Anything to save your little friend, huh?
It certainly seems that Miss Ringer had some personal interest in you, at least.
Indeed, indeed, but I can't for the life of me imagine why. Too bad, so sad. Without a motive, you can't logic your way into pinning this on me.
Too bad, so sad.
And I have absolutely no idea why she was after me.
Hold it!
Yeah, you're correct. You have no idea at all as to why she was after you. Let's see now. It's because Dad's a real catch. I suppose you could say that, yes. The admirers, they come, and then there you go again. What about Mum? You couldn't even dream of being like my dad.
Very true. I doubt many ordinary people could quite match his achievements. It's remarkable, really, to have so many people come into a life, and then for so many to leave it.
I certainly won't complain if you chose to leave, Verity, my dear. I think it's far more likely that you'll be the one leaving today, in handcuffs. Yes, very droll, but if you think I'm finished, you will be sorely disappointed. I have to think back over what we know about the victim.
If you're not sure how to approach this, take another look at the evidence. You just might find a new way to interpret old information.
Are you trying to help me, Francisca?
I'm trying to help Kay Faraday. I could care less about you.
Nice that she really is worried for Kay, in her own Francisca sort of way. Alright, it's gonna be the fourth. We pressed and we pressed. Always wearing gloves is not going to be true. What am I looking at for? It's interesting that we've been given the whole IS-7 case incident again. Is it going to still be with the Suns? Anything going on with the Suns there? That's the most interesting part still, leading on from that case. Why have we been given this so late? One wig was straight and the other wavy. We need to look for information about Ringer in particular. Of course, this shows an ungloved hand. Any other statements that ring true about this at this point in time? This an auction held in a big building. Nothing about hands. Wait. One of the people recorded had a prominent burn. Was it? Wait. Oh, yeah. Is this a camera, not just a conversation? Okay, then. Well, it's probably this, then. She definitely didn't have the glove on at this point in time. Why did I think this was just audio recording and not visual? Is it visual, too? I mean, why would it have one of the people recorded had a prominent burn otherwise? That's burn. And of course, this shows burn. But it's probably this.
Objection!
So, Miss Ringer always wore gloves. If she did, that raises a rather important question. And highlights quite a contradiction. A contradiction, you say? Really? If we listen again to the conversation that was captured by the stuffed cow, you'll soon see what I mean. Oh, it's just about mentioning the burn. Okay, not visual recording? I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. Nothing to say for yourself? I've waited so long for this day, and now I'll finally have my revenge. The real question is, you waited so long for this day. What revenge did you need? I'm interested in that. We can be reasonably certain that what we just heard is the moment the victim was attacked. I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. We assume that those were the words of the killer. And where's the problem in that? It seems like a perfectly sensible assumption to me. I'm afraid not, Chairman Winner. But you see, if the victim was always wearing gloves, as you just testified, then the burn mark on her hand should not have been visible to her killer. There were multiple pieces of evidence that could have showed that, though.
Objection!
You speak as if gloves can be easily removed. She could have taken them off during the auction. That's...
But she hadn't. She was still wearing them when I changed places with her. Oh. So they must have been on her hands when she was being murdered too.
What are you saying, my dear? You do know how much trouble you're in, don't you? Yeah, it's like you're completely betraying now.
I'm not scared of you anymore. I have grammar on my side now. Now it's time for you to pay the piper, winner, you dang devil.
I see. So you're both looking to disappear too. That can be arranged.
We need to catch his bearded light.
Not this time, Excelsius winner. The only person disappearing will be you.
Objection!
Hey, you can't talk to my dad like that. Who cares if the burn was covered up? Why does that even matter?
Objection!
Oh, it matters. Because it turns our understanding of the burn mark on its head. What do you mean? What can the fact that the victim's burn mark was covered up possibly tell us? Can the fact that the victim's burn mark was covered up possibly tell us? The murderer had a burn mark too? The victim didn't have a burn mark? The murderer had a burn mark too. Think about it like this, Mr. Winner. The victim was wearing gloves, therefore the burn mark on her hand would not have been visible. In which case, whose burn mark was it that was being referenced in the recording? Somebody who, wasn't the victim? Precisely, which can only mean that the culprit had a prominent burn mark too. Or to put it another way, I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. Those words were spoken not by the murderer, but by the victim who wanted revenge. Oh! No way!
Objection!
Eustace, my boy, would you mind stepping aside for a sec? Look, Miles, it's nice to see you having fun with your little flights of fancy, but let's get serious. So the murderer had a burn mark now? Really? Where? Your little theory will either take flight or die, depending on your answers here, I'm afraid.
What if it's not a tattoo?
He's not messing around. I have to figure out where that burn mark was, and fast.
I wonder where it could have been. All of the auction people were wearing disguises, right?
Yes, and each disguise was different. Yet in spite of that, the burn mark was visible to the victim somehow, which means... Well, shall we? Enlighten us, why don't you? Where was the murderer's burn mark? I assume you have some evidence.
Evidence?
Well, I'm going to say it's not on your hand. Your hand is actually uncovered now, so it's not in the same place. However, you were said to have a tattoo on your face. How can I, what sort of tattoo on the part of their face the mask didn't cover? What if it's not a tattoo, but it is a burn? And this revealed who it was, especially to prompt Rosie to say such things, because Rosie didn't know beforehand. Rosie found out at this time.
Take that!
Here is my evidence. The outfit the ringleader was wearing throughout the auction. Or rather, the outfit you were wearing, Chairman Winner. Ho 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 ho! And what exactly is that supposed to tell us, hum?
Objection!
A suit, white gloves, and a mask. This disguise should have covered almost all of your skin. But according to Nurse Niedler's testimony, the auctioneer's mask didn't quite cover your entire face. And not only that, she claims to have seen a tattoo on the part that was exposed. But was it a tattoo? Or did she simply mistake a burn mark for one? A burn mark on the face!
Objection!
Sorry to interrupt while you're so clearly enjoying yourself, dear boy. But I regret to inform you that none of the committee members has such a burn. Myself included, of course. But, Dad, you... I mean... Eustace, do you think you could be quiet, please? You can be foolish on your own time later. Well, you may be an annoyance most of the time, Mr. Winner. But on this particular occasion, I'm grateful for your presence. A reaction like that from you, his son, is as good an indicator of the truth as I could have hoped for. And it gives me a much-needed confidence boost concerning another theory of mine. Namely, who that one unexplained item belongs to.
Which? What?
What's the matter with Mr. Winner? I think he might be in shock. After all, he's usually the last to figure things out. But in this case, he seems to have gotten there all too quickly. He knows that his father is indeed the real murderer. He's sad because he knows the truth. So, it's better not to know the truth at all. No, Kay. It's what we came here for. It doesn't matter how we get there. The important thing is finding the truth. You yourself told me that once, right when I needed to hear it the most. And now it's time for me to repay the favor and show you the truth of your innocence.
I want to know too. The truth of what really happened. So please, Mr. Edgeworth, won't you show me?
I very much intend to. Oh, ho, 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 ho. You don't know when to give up, do you? Where's this burn, then? Perhaps you could point it out to me. But you can't, can you? Because there's nowhere to be found, just like your evidence that I'm the killer. Just like the evidence that I'm the killer. It should be just like your evidence that I'm the killer. You couldn't decide on me or your... Yes, hunt for contradictions all you like. You won't find any. Because he's my dad, a winner through and through.
Objection!
I understand, Mr. Winner. I completely understand why you don't want to believe it's true. But if you ignore the truth now, you'll regret it for as long as you live. Dad, what do I do? Think for yourself for once? I just don't understand it. How could I have raised such an utter buffoon? If you really wish to help your father, Eustace, you could try thinking on your own for once in your life. You useless nitwit. But I try all the time, Dad. All I do is try. I went to the school you wanted me to go to. I aced every test. Look at my jacket. They only give these to the valedictorian. I did everything you told me to. I worked like crazy and graduated top of my class. But how could you be so dumb? I tried to be just like you and win as many trophies as I could.
Objection!
You really are just a simpering simpleton, aren't you? Those tests you aced, I had the school give you perfect scores on all of them. Oh my goodness! Those debate and speech competitions you won, the judges were all friends of mine.
You actually made your son like this.
If you never even realized that much, there's no hope for you, I'm afraid. None at all. You're no son of mine. Even you must see that. I... Ah! Ah! Oh, gone. My own son. They all leave in the end. I mean, boo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Even when he was trying, he was failing, and he did it all for me, and he should have tried harder. You're a disgrace. You don't deserve to be a father, and you certainly don't deserve to be chairman of this committee. Even I feel sorry for the boy now.
Oh, Mr. Winner. Explain yourself, Chairman Winner. Just what do you think your son is to treat him in such a way?
An utterly useless pawn sounds about right. But you're one to talk Verity. You tried to worm your way into my trust by using Eustace too.
I cannot deny it. However, I have never thought of him as a mere pawn. He may not be a naturally gifted prosecutor, but he tries in some ways. He tries harder than anybody. That's what I have witnessed during my time with him. Yet you would call him Eustace? How could you?
Objection!
Oh, ho, ho, ho! Because he is Verity, my girl. He is utterly incapable of doing anything I ask of him.
Mr. Edgeworth, I entrust my offering to the goddess to you, so that you may use it to call her final judgment unto Excelsius Winner.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd be more than ready to do so. If the ringleader had a visible burn mark on their face that night, then it would follow the Chairman Winner is currently hiding that mark somehow. How exactly was he dressed during the auction? That will be the key to solving this case at last.
Now then, your answer please. Which piece of evidence will help us to reveal the burn mark on the culprit's face?
One wig was straight, the other wavy. Ringer's hair was straight, so wavy not used. Ringler prepared wigs in order to enable their accomplice to disguise herself as Miss Ringer. I think it's this.
Take that!
Recall Nurse Niedler's testimony, if you will. There was one thing we never quite resolved. The second wig. The one that wasn't used.
I seem to remember it being Wavy. What are you two talking about?
Nurse Niedler apparently found some very interesting items when she went to swap places with the victim.
And? What do they have to do with the burn mark?
What she found were 2 wigs. One was intended to make her look more like the victim. But what was the other one for?
I don't suppose it was meant to be a spare.
It doesn't take a huge leap of imagination to see the truth. Compare Chairman Winner's current appearance to that of the ringleader as it was described to us. Stop it! Stop staring at me! One very prominent difference presents itself. His face, or rather, what's around it.
You mean... it wasn't a wig after all?
Indeed, not a wig intended to go on the top of the head in any case. It was a fake beard all along, wasn't it, Excelsius Winner? You keep catching it on fire. Like you don't think it's normally supposed to be there? This is all my own, dear boy. How very unkind of you to suggest otherwise.
Objection!
We saw how your son reacted when he realized the truth, and how he desperately tried to cover for you even in light of his realization. Yet you still fear that he might expose you. So rather than take that risk, you bullied him until he couldn't take it anymore. Because he knew that your beard hides a prominent burn mark. Chairman Winner, I insist that you remove your beard this instant. Whoa! What? That's an interesting burn mark.
There it is! The burn mark! Mr. Edgeworth, for bringing evil to justice before the eyes of the goddess, you have my thanks.
No, thank you. I couldn't have done it without you.
Excelsius Winner, in the name of the goddess, I hereby pronounce my verdict. In the matter of the murder of Miss Rosie Ringer, this court finds you guilty.